Look at this beautiful sky vortex. Holy shit, don't you want to eat that? Don't you want to eat that? I want to eat that. I don't want to eat that truck because it's ugly as fuck. But I do want to eat that sky. Oh my goodness. Absolutely breathtaking, is it not? I've been thinking a lot about this fast that I'm fixing to go on, and I know it probably seems counterintuitive to talk about it. Thank you for the turn signal. The reason why I talk, thank you for the turn signal. The reason why I'm talking about it beforehand is to hold myself accountable. Because if I keep talking about it, I keep saying, yeah, I'm going to do this, then I'll feel really stupid, not to mention guilty, if I don't do it. And y'all know, I know I mentioned this before, that God is in cahoots with me because the day that the fast in our Orthodox Church, the day that it ends is April 20th, which is Weed Christmas, in case you're not familiar with the drug holidays. April 20th is like internationally recognized by all stoners as the #1 marijuana holiday. And so the fact that that's the day that the fast ends, our Lenten fast, mind you, just kind of proves to me that the Lord and I are definitely on the same wavelength. But anyway, I got this idea back in like September that I was gonna fast from all mind-altering substances and all things that could potentially alter my mind, like a substance. And the reason for this is because ever since I was 16, I've been on and off different things. This started with antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication. Y'all know my feelings on that. I don't think that medications work. I think that they harm you way more than they help you. And I realized that immediately, which is why I ended up doing other drugs that actually helped me. But I'm at a point now in my life where I just want to see mainly I want to see like what it's like to be totally sober. Because all throughout different bouts of sobriety, I was still on something else, you know? Like, it's amazing to me how many people will pride themselves on being clean and sober, but they're still on social media all the time, which is messing with their brain chemistry. Many of them smoke cigarettes, or they vape, they still drink coffee, they still drink fucking Red Bull and Monster drinks and shit like that. But else? What else do people do that alters them? I mean, pornography. I don't really have a problem with that one. I really hate social media with passion. But it is somewhat of a temptation. You know, when I go online and I put up stuff on YouTube, it's always a temptation to just look up a bunch of stuff that is not going to be good for my well-being, you know? And the whole purpose of this experiment is to, like, increase my mindfulness of, you know, why I do the things that I do. And it's good to reflect on, you know, various states of mind. And I get really sad sometimes. Like, I just, like, sad enough that I'm like, should I kill myself? You know, I mean, I'm not going to, but I do get really sad sometimes. And because I think about the world and how fucked up it is. And speaking of how fucked up the world is, why are there all these helicopters? You guys, look at all these fucking helicopters. Y'all know how I feel about aircraft. Don't you find it kind of funny that they've dramatically increased the amount of aircraft? Like, what the fuck are they doing? You see that? Am I hallucinating again? I promise, there are like 4 helicopters right now. What are they gonna do to us next, you guys? What is it? See that? That's one of them. I don't think they can see him, maybe. Holy shit. Yeah, there are like a bunch of helicopters and they're all going over there. I just can't help but think, like, every single time that anything's happening, I just assume that it's bad, you know? I assume that something ominous is going on, and the sheep, who y'all know I just utterly despise them, because it's like they just don't notice anything weird ever happening, you know? They never pay enough attention to notice things that are out of place. And that's why the elites are able to get away with everything that the elite get away with. Because the few of us that do notice are just going to be labeled crazy. And nobody wants to be labeled crazy, because there's nothing worse than that. Aside from, you know, being a sheep. But whatever. Whatever. I mean, the feeling's always going to be mutual. But anyway, say I got distracted. I saw some helicopters and I got distracted. Start bitching about the government again. Yeah. I wonder if my paranoia has been increased because of my marijuana use. Marijuana use just made sense out of my paranoia. You know? But yeah, I really want to read. There's just like a bunch of books that I really want to read. And I just don't think I'm going to be motivated to do that if I keep doing drugs. So it's going to be a good 2.5 months without it. So hopefully I'll get some shit done. You'll probably see me post even more than I already do post, because, you know, the motivation and shit. I mean, I would say that I'm pretty motivated to do what I'm doing. It would be foolish for me to say that I don't have that. But I think I've just gotten myself into the routine of consistently posting, which is why I've remained pretty dedicated to that endeavor. I wish that I could remain as dedicated to doing stand-up, going to church all the time, but that involves leaving the house, you know? That's the issue. Anytime I have to leave the house to do anything, it's just fairly difficult for me because I have this quicksand problem. Wherever I am, it's like I swear there's fucking quicksand and I just get sucked into it. And I think it's because I hate change. So it's like it's really hard for me to force myself to move. You know, once I'm in a particular area, it's hard for me to force myself to move to another one. And this is a common problem. So if I'm at home, that's obviously a problem. But anytime I go to the grocery store, I just sit in the parking lot for 45 minutes. Sometimes I'll do that at gas stations. Or yeah, I'll just sit at the fucking pump. You know, if there's nobody waiting for it. I'm not so rude that I'm like, fuck you. I'm just gonna sit here and make my music and inconvenience you. No, I don't like inconveniencing other people. If something that I'm doing inconveniences you, I feel bad about it. But you think I'd show up on time for work because of that, but that's not enough. But also, me not showing up for work on time has a lot to do with my inability to leave where I am. So if I'm stuck at the house, or I'm stuck in my car, or say I excuse myself to go to the restroom, I'll just be sitting in there for like 20 minutes, you know? Unless we're in the middle of a rush or something. But it's like, yeah, I just get stuck. Being by myself, I think. But it's happened a lot where I would just get stuck at my job, or I'd get stuck at a bar, you know, talking to people, where I just won't want to leave, you know? And once I do, it's fine. It's just that like initial, you know, get up and get out. I don't know why that's so hard for me, but you know, hopefully I'll figure that out when I go on this fast. The purpose of the fast is to figure shit out without drugs. Because yeah, there's plenty of stuff that you can figure out without drugs. But I want to take it upon myself to see what mysteries are revealed to me when I'm not high or heavily caffeinated or polluting my mind with images that I talk to for an extended period of time. You know, when Facebook came out, I recognized how dangerous it was, especially for women. Women are already terrible people, and you add social media, it's like, what's the fucking point, you know? And that's why, you know, people that are real social, people that their livelihood revolves around social interaction and conversations that they'll forget even happened, you know? If their life revolves around that, then yeah, they're not going to understand a person like me that doesn't want to do social media. They're not going to understand a person like me that doesn't have any interest in telling everybody how I feel about everything. And I understand how hypocritical that might seem since I do a vlogging channel, but you have to understand that there's a major difference between somebody that vlogs and they do art because they're a comedian versus somebody that's just blabbing on Twitter, or they're going on Facebook to like prove that they go to parties or prove that they attended their son's high school graduation. You know, it's like, why do you need to validate everything that you do? And that's why I say that social networking is specifically made for women, because women constantly need to be validated. That's why I say that most of them are not of God, because the validation that they're getting does not come from God. It comes from a social media site. It comes from total strangers online. Just look at how many of them leave the house dressed like a fucking skank, and then they get mad when they get treated like a skank. But you obviously wanted some kind of attention, otherwise you wouldn't have left the house looking like that. If you're so impressed with your outfit, if you're so impressed with your body, if you're so impressed with your makeup, why do you need anybody else to see it? Why don't you just spend the rest of the evening staring into the mirror? Since you're so drop dead gorgeous, right? Women need to be validated. And if it's not one man doing that, it's going to be a bunch of men doing that. And if it's not that, it's going to be the internet. It's going to be a psychiatrist that tells them like, oh yeah, there is something wrong with you. But they didn't say it's because you're a woman. They said, oh, you got this disorder. You got this disorder. Your neurotransmitters need to be regulated. You know? They'll believe anything, won't they? We need to tell women that the reason why the medication doesn't work is because they're still women, which means they're still going to dramatize everything and take things personally, constantly play the victim. And I hate this about them, you know, but most of them can't take this level of criticism. They'll start crying, or they'll just leave and go find a dog to spend some time with that doesn't ever criticize them, you know? I hate it. There are quite a few females, though, that they like what I do because they've taken the time to work on themselves and, you know, sort through the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know? And many women, they can't fucking do that, which is why psychiatric drugs appeal to them, so they can just get a quick fix, you know? This is the restaurant I was talking about, by the way. You see that? God, look how packed that is. This is the restaurant that I said was like a total fucking shithole. I don't know. I'm kind of interested, so I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see if the food is as bad as it looks on Yelp. But Americans will eat anything, all right? I've worked in fast food for almost 20 years. I can attest to the fact that Americans do not have a conscience, and they will eat whatever you give to them. It can be total fucking slop. They don't care. When you are hurting, call out, for Jesus the healer is near. Thank you, First Baptist Church. He is the healer. He's the only healer. But yeah. I want to see if my level of vitriol and rage and hate, as I was accused of the other day, I want to see if that subsides in the slightest. I want to see if it isn't as bad if I don't use any substances. Because I do think that, like, marijuana and kratom, like any kind of mind-altering substance, if it heightens your mood in any kind of way, the problem with that isn't just like the level of dependency that you're gonna have on that, but you know, whenever you come down off of the drug, you're gonna be like probably more impatient, more pissed off, more easily agitated. And so I'm just wondering, like, how bad that really is. And I don't really think that I've given myself enough time away from anything to accurately assess, like, how it's affecting my mind and my body and my soul and my spirit and all that. That being said, all of this stuff that I'm abstaining from, doesn't have to be bad. Holy shit, really? Look at that. I just wanted y'all to see that. Bruh. On a Lexus too, that's kind of surprising. You think that would be on the back of a Camaro or some shit. Lexus is a fancy car. I don't know, maybe they're like a Gen X person trying to pretend that they're a Zoomer. There's plenty of those people online, you know? They're trying to get down with the Zoomer language. But yeah, so I really like marijuana. It's helped me out a lot for different reasons. I like kratom. I like coffee a lot. Y'all know I love my coffee. But that doesn't mean that I need any of that. And I want to do those things for the right reason. I don't want to do them all because it's just part of my routine, or I'm pissed off, or I'm bored, or it's fucking Sunday, you know? I just always want there to be like a significant reason why I do the things that I do. And if there isn't, I want to rid it from my life. And also, going on a major drug fast will increase your tolerance. So, Is that bad to like avoid something all for the purpose of like lowering your tolerance so you can go back to that same thing again and enjoy it the way that you did in the beginning? I don't know, man. I'm just bored. I'm bored. I don't want to say if I make this dramatic of a change, like if that makes as much of a difference as I think it will. Mainly, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Okay. Isn't that beautiful? Did you see what just happened, Vortex? That was a four-way stop. That was a four-way stop. And everybody went when it was their turn to go. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's pretty cool when people understand the rules and the rules actually make sense. I have no problem following the rules as long as they make sense. But when they involve Metallica jabs,